The message arrived at 2:17 a.m., and with it, my place in my sister's life quietly vanished. Stay away from the ceremony. That was all it said. No explanation. No argument. Just a clean incision through years of shared bedrooms, whispered secrets, and childhood promises. I stared at the screen until the light dimmed, waiting for the second text that never came. By morning, I was no longer invited to my own sister's wedding. Her name is Elena, and until that night, I believed I knew her better than anyone. We grew up orbiting each other, she the radiant center, me the steady shadow. I handled logistics, fixed crises, absorbed tension. She basked in applause. It worked. Or I thought it did. 3 days before the text, I'd questioned her fiancé, Marcus, about a suspicious vendor invoice. Numbers didn't add up. He smiled too easily, told me I worried too much. Elena later accused me of trying to sabotage her happiness. I assumed we'd talk it through. We always did. Instead, I was erased. I didn't argue. I didn't beg. I opened my laptop and booked a one-way flight to Maui. If she wanted distance, I'd give her an ocean. I told no one. Packed light. Left the dress I'd bought for her wedding hanging untouched in my closet. At the airport, my phone stayed silent. Not from Elena. Not from our parents. It was as if I had already faded from the guest list and from memory. When my plane lifted into the night sky, I felt something colder than heartbreak, clarity. If I was a threat to her perfect day, then something about that day wasn't perfect at all. Hawaii was warm, but the quiet felt unnatural. I checked into a small hotel near the water and turned my phone face down on the nightstand. The wedding was in 6 days. I told myself I wouldn't think about it. By sunset, I was replaying every conversation from the past month. Elena had been tense. Defensive. Every time I mentioned budgets or timelines, she snapped. Marcus had started attending our planning meetings, though he never used to care about details. He insisted on handling final payments himself. Cleaner that way, he'd said. I had access to the master spreadsheet, but 2 weeks ago, my permissions were revoked. A technical glitch, according to him. On the third morning in Maui, I broke my rule and checked my email. 50 unread messages. Most were vendor confirmations forwarded automatically from the shared wedding account. Except the dates were wrong. Deposits marked paid twice. One venue cancellation notice timestamped at 1:52 a.m. The same night Elena texted me. My pulse slowed instead of racing. Patterns calm me. The cancellation had been reversed 20 minutes later. Someone had called directly to override it. The contact number listed wasn't mine, wasn't Elena's. It was Marcus's private line. I stepped onto the balcony overlooking the ocean and dialed the venue anonymously. The coordinator hesitated before answering my casual questions. Yes, there was confusion, she admitted. The groom said the bride was overwhelmed and asked to limit outside interference. Outside interference. That was me. That evening, as the sky turned violet, my phone finally lit up. 1 missed call. Then 3. Then 12. By midnight, it wouldn't stop vibrating. I watched the numbers climb, refusing to answer. At 2:17 a.m. in Maui, exactly a week after her message, the calls reached 110. And I knew her perfect day had begun to unravel. At 2:19 a.m., I finally picked up. I didn't speak first. I wanted to hear the air on the other end, to measure the damage in silence. Elena? I said softly. It wasn't her. It was our mother, breathless, frantic. Where are you? Why aren't you answering? Something's wrong. I let her words spill out in fragments. The florist hadn't been paid. The string quartet never arrived. The venue manager was demanding a second transfer for the reception hall. Elena was locked in a private room, refusing to come out. Marcus was handling it. handling it. I asked one question, who authorized the vendor changes? A pause. Then quieter, Marcus said you withdrew from planning. He said you didn't approve the final payments. I closed my eyes. The master spreadsheet. The revoked access. The 1:52 a.m. cancellation. He hadn't just removed me, he'd replaced me. After hanging up, I opened the archived wedding account I'd duplicated months ago out of habit. Every invoice carried subtle edits, bank routing numbers slightly altered, confirmation emails redirected. Someone had created a shadow chain of payments. And because I'd been cut out publicly, no one questioned the shift privately. Another call came through. This time Elena. I answered, but she didn't speak right away. I could hear muffled voices, a door closing, fabric rustling. I thought you were trying to ruin this, she whispered. He showed me emails. From you. My stomach turned cold. What emails? Saying the venue was unsafe. That guest should reconsider attending. I had written no such thing. Check the sender address, I said carefully. Check the headers. A sharp inhale. Silence. Then, it's your old account. The one I stopped using 2 years ago. The one Marcus once helped me recover after I forgot the password. Footsteps pounded in the background. Someone knocking. Elena's voice dropped to a tremor. He's saying the catering company just pulled out. He's asking me to authorize another transfer. Don't sign anything. I said. Ask to see the original contracts. Not the copies he printed. The line crackled. Then it went dead. I didn't book a return flight. Not yet. Distance was still my advantage. From my balcony in Maui, I rebuilt the timeline piece by piece. Marcus entered the planning process 6 weeks ago. Vendor access shifted 5 weeks ago. My credentials failed 4 weeks ago. The anonymous emails began 3 weeks ago. And 1 week ago, I was removed entirely. A clean substitution. By dawn, I had compiled screenshots, metadata, and transaction logs into a single encrypted file. I sent it to Elena with one line, look at the timestamps. Hours passed. The ocean moved, indifferent. My phone stayed dark. Then, at 11:43 a.m., it rang again. Elena's voice was different, steady, stripped of illusion. The florist confirmed the account number changed, she said. It wasn't theirs. And the quartet? Never booked. Marcus had vanished from the venue shortly after their last argument. His phone was off. The emergency transfers he'd pushed that morning had been blocked when Elena refused to sign. Without fresh funds, his window closed. I thought you were jealous, she admitted quietly. He said you didn't want me to move on. That you couldn't stand not being needed. I leaned against the railing, feeling the truth settle like gravity. I had always been needed, just not loved for it. He isolated you from me, I said. That was the first move. She exhaled shakily. I should have called. Yes, I agreed. Not cruelly. Just honestly. By late afternoon, guests were being informed of a postponement due to unforeseen financial discrepancies. Our parents were scrambling to contain rumors. Elena had filed a report. The altered accounts were traceable. Marcus had underestimated something fundamental, my habit of keeping records. As the sun dipped into the Pacific, my phone buzzed once more. Not frantic this time. Just a message from Elena, I'm sorry. I should have trusted you. I watched the sky turn gold and felt neither triumph nor revenge. Only clarity. Her perfect day hadn't collapsed because I left. It collapsed because the truth finally had room to surface. And this time I wasn't standing in her shadow, I was standing in the light.